I've got a whole pile of tiny little IC chips that I've collected over the last year or so from all kinds of different boards. You see them everywhere, really small, and I don't even know if they're worth keeping. I've been collecting them just in case. So today I'm going to process them to find out, is there any gold in these and are they worth collecting? So let's get into it. G'day viewers, welcome back to another video. As usual, my voice is gone. I'm really not doing too well, but I'm going to persist and try and keep videos coming for you guys. So please bear with me. And what I've got today are all these tiny little IC chips. You see them everywhere, motherboards, all kinds of boards. And I want to know, have I been wasting my time keeping them, or do they have gold? So today we're going to find out. I'm going to take them outside and roast them, crush them, usual, and then see if there's any gold in there. I can't find my scales. I don't know where they are. My kitchen scales to do a start weight. So for those who like start weights, I'm sorry. I would estimate probably about 100 grams, maybe 200 at the absolute best. There wouldn't be any more than 200 grams here. So let's go outside and burn them. I found a little cup that should hopefully be enough to hold them so I can use my small scales. So I know people have been asking me for start weights. So hopefully this will do. Let's see if I can get them all in here. So it's been teared off, it's on 0. Little error. So that's on 199.8, 200 on the dot, 200 grams, and then that tiny bit. Hang on, I'll put this on here, tear it off, and chip this in. 274.8 grams, so almost 300 grams. I wasn't too far off in my guesstimation. Let's just say 275. Alright, so let's go get started. Okay, so I've got the little IC chips in the pan with my leaf burner, or weed burner. So I'm going to torch them, and once I've torched them, I'll come back, we'll do the crushing in the coffee grinder. Sorry, I just can't keep talking too much. Okay, so I've got a spoon. I'm going to spoon them into the coffee grinder, and then once I've ground them up, I'm going to sieve them into the bucket to make sure that I get all the bits and pieces that can be crushed, and then I'll do a gravity separation. You've seen that before in my other videos. If you haven't seen one, go back and have a look. Does a good job of turning it into powder. I couldn't get these as white as I would have liked to, so after I've ground them up, I'm going to put them back on the heat. I'll put them on the hot plate and then heat the powder up some more. I can't use the torch because it'll blow the dust everywhere. Normally I like my chips roasted a lot more than this. But for some reason this is about as white as I could get them. There's the stuff that didn't get roasted, and it's only metal. I can see there's no bits of chip there at all. It's just all copper and brass. Clearly there's no more chips there. But I'll put that in the mix anyway, and I'll treat it with the dust, just in case there's gold on there. But there's definitely nothing more to crush. You can see that's just all metal. Alright, so the dust from the ICs isn't really as dark, as light, as I would like. It's not bad, but I could get better. So I'm going to put it into a pan and put it on the heat. I've seen worse, but I've also seen better. So now I've got to get the paintbrush and get all this out of here into the pan, and I'll put it on heat and just leave it there to cook for as long as it takes. A bit of a rookie mistake, as you would have seen in my other video, unless this one comes out first. I got a bigger paintbrush. It's an expensive one too, and I thought the pan was hot, cool enough, but it burnt all the bristles off, and the bristles are in here somewhere. But now I've got a hard surface that I can scrape the bottom with. Not sure if you can tell, but it's coming up nice and white where it's been sitting. But all the powder now, once it's mixed together, is like a light grey compared to the black that it was. So I would say it's as good as ready, but I'm just going to leave it on the heat a little bit longer. And then at the end of the day, I should be able to do gravity separation and carry on. So this is lightened up a lot, and it's the whiter it is when I stir it. I'm happy with that for sure. It's definitely light enough now. We'll turn this off, let it cool down. and do gravity separation on it. Okay, I'm going to do the gravity separation of these little IC chips. Showed it in the last video, so there's no point showing it again. Using these buckets. Once I'm finished, I'll put the residue back in here, take it out the back, get it sorted into a beaker with some acid. So I'll come back when I'm at that stage. I don't know if these tiny little IC chips have silver in them or not, but I've rinsed out all the tap water thoroughly with distilled water, and now I'm going to put some nitric in there to consume the base metals. Now, for all I know, they might not even put gold in these tiny little ones. They might just use silver or copper or something. So that's what I want to find out. Are they worth keeping? So we'll do a nitric bath and hopefully left with some gold. The reaction is finished. These little ICs. No more reaction when I put extra nitric in, so it's time to pour all this out. Give it a good rinse, and then we'll put acariggia in there. Okay, so I've got the filters. I had a couple of filters going with all the tiny little ICs. Got them all in the beaker and the residue as well. Putting some hydrochloric acid in. And if there's any gold, I'm not expecting to be much, if at all. So I'm just going to put one pipette of nitric in. I can always put more tomorrow if I need to. So I'll just let that sit for now. Tomorrow I'll come out, check it, put it on heat if I need to, and see if we're getting, I think there might be some gold in there, but maybe not much. But I'll see tomorrow. I'll do a status test because some of it may have dissolved overnight if there's any in there. Put it on heat tomorrow if need be and see what happens. I put some more nitric in with the little chips because there was nothing happening, and as you can see I've got a nice reaction, so there's clearly something getting dissolved. I've got two filters catching all the sediment for the tiny little ICs. You can see that the solution is nowhere near clear. Once all the sediment's caught, I'm going to run all the solution back through some cotton balls, and I'll do that as often as I need to until it's clear, crystal clear, so I can drop the gold. I've finished filtering out the sediment. Now I'm just running it through a cotton ball to try and clean it up a bit. It's not really coming out clear, so I'll end up putting it back through that cotton ball a second, maybe even a third time, as many times as I need to until it's nice and clear. It's worth spending the extra time now to do that and get a better purity than to rush it and get dirty gold, which you then need to refine again. This is all part of the cleanup process, and the cleanup process is so important when it comes to getting clarity, purity. You want to spend the time and the effort to do it properly, and you'll get a much better result. It's now on its final filter. This is the 5th cotton ball that I've had to use. Each cotton ball got choked up full of dark stuff, and as you can see, even this one has got some dark stuff in there, but it's coming out pretty quick, so I'm happy with that, and it's looking fairly clear. So 5 cotton balls choked up full of rubbish that you couldn't see in the solution. It shows you how many impurities that can be in, and you can see that's cloudy up there, and this isn't. It's well worth taking the effort and time. Now it's very diluted because of all these rinses. Each time I've poured it from vessel to vessel and cleaned out the funnel to put a new cotton ball, I've had to rinse out the gold solution. It's not a problem that it's over diluted because gold likes to fall out of a dilute solution. The only difference is it'll be a slow reaction, the gold color change. And there's probably not a lot of gold in there to begin with. I'm not expecting much out of it, if anything. So when I put the SMB in, it's going to be a slow change most likely, and that's fine. And I'm told that when you put it on the hot plate it helps the gold settle, so I'm going to stick it on the hot plate to see once I put SMB in. And I've actually got used SMB from another job and there's nothing wrong with it, still plenty of strength in it. I like to reuse my acids wherever I can, and there's not a drama using old SMB. It just means that if it doesn't all drop you might have to put a bit of fresh stuff in. That's okay. They might as well use up the strength in the old stuff first. So once this is finished filtering, you can see that's choking up quite a lot in there. As long as it keeps running like that I'll be happy. Once it's finished I'll put the used SMB in, stick it up on the hot plate and see if I can get it to drop a bit quicker. I don't really want to wait overnight. So if I have to, I have to. You know, there's no point in cutting corners, but if I can get it to drop sooner, great. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. So I'm just going to wait now for this to finish. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pour in the SMB. Might as well just use up the last of what's here. And just let that sit. Like I said, it might take a while for a colour change. I'm going to clean out this bottle because there's a little bit of gold debris in there from when I used the SMB before. Might as well catch that. Tiniest little bit, probably won't even register on the scales, but better in my beaker than in the bottle. Okay, so I'll put a lid on it now, put some heat on it and see if it does reduce faster. I can see it's already starting to change very slowly. It was nice and clear and light green and now it's slowly getting darker and more opaque. So turn it up and get a lid for it. It's a waiting game now. I hate waiting games. Well, that worked nicely. I only boiled it for half an hour and the gold dropped. There's not a lot in there, but there's something, so it's good. So now I'll pour this off and we'll wash that. So it's 3 rinses with hot water, and then whichever I decide to do, a nitric boil or a hydrochloric acid boil, makes no difference. I usually do one or the other or both. But it's going to be refined anyway, so I'll probably just give it a hydrochloric acid boil, clean it up a little bit, rinse it off again. But I'll pour this off for now and we'll come back. Alright, so before I pour it off, I'm going to do a stainless test to make sure that I've got all the gold. Just trying to make some room here for the camera. It's a negative. There's no gold in there, so it's good. Alright, I'll get to pour it off. Pour all the solution out. Okay, there's the gold down the bottom. Not a lot, but like I said, I wasn't expecting much. We didn't have much to start with. Only tiny little ICs. It's not boiling water, but it's warm. So I'm just going to give it a good rinse. It might have to sit for a while if it's cold at all. We'll see how fast it drops. Still no signs of getting better. 3 weeks now I've had this thing. Anyway, so I'll have to let that sit, and when it settles I'll pour it off. Do 3 washes, I'll come back for a hydrochloric acid boil. It's so colloidal that it's taking forever to fall, and what I was doing is pouring off the wash water, leaving the majority of the gold at the bottom. But I'm just going to catch it all in a filter. It's much easier that way. So what I'll do is I'll weigh a filter paper Then I'll catch the gold in the filter paper and we'll be able to weigh it and work out how much gold I've got that way. Alright, I got a paper folded up. I'll put it on the scales and see what it weighs. What's it say?
1.5 grams.
1.5 grams. Now I'll catch the gold in the filter and then I'll dry the filter. I'll put it on one of these plates and dry it off. And then we should be able to get a good weight of what the gold is, minus the filter. So I'll put that in here now and I'll start catching all this. So it's almost finished dripping. I've got all the gold in there. I've got a couple of choices now if I wanted to for the cleaning up process. I could just put some hydrochloric acid in there with a pipette, though I don't reckon that does very well. I think it's better off being boiled. I could take the filter now with all the gold in it, put it in a beaker with some hydrochloric acid and boil it. That's one way I can do it. But I'm doing another video. I'm refining some gold anyway. So I'll just get this dried off, get the weight, and then I can put it in there and refine it with that. So if you weren't going to be doing like this, if you're not, ready to refine anyway, just put it in the beaker, filter paper and all, with some hydrochloric acid. You could continue rinsing it first in here to make sure you're getting all the SMB solution out. Then put it in the beaker with some hydrochloric acid and give it a boil, and that would clean it up nicely. But I'm just going to put it in there. So almost finished dripping. I'd say it's almost out. So we'll get the paper out anyway. I've squirted down the gold as best I can, so it's mostly down at the tip. Okay, so I'll put this on here. I've got the pan hot, ready to go. So now I'll just keep turning that, get it nice and dry. Hopefully it doesn't burn. I've got it down low. I'll be back shortly with the weigh up. Well, it's been drying slowly for over half an hour. It's all crisp. You can feel it and hear it crinkling. So I'll get the scales ready. Alright, we'll put this on there. Let's see what we got. Is that 2.3? I can't quite see. 2.4. I said 2.3 a minute ago. 2.4. Take off 1.5, so we got 0.9 of a gram. So almost a gram. That's not too bad out of those tiny little IC chips. I didn't even know if there'd be any in there at all. Now it says 2.5. Let's make sure that it's right. 2.6 now. These aren't my best scales. I'm going to call it a gram. 1 gram of gold. That's pretty good. So it's a bit of an unorthodox way of doing this, but the result in the end is the same. Look at that, now it's 2.6, now 2.7. Alright, so we'll call it a gram. Hope you enjoyed this video. Now I know that these little ICs are worth keeping and I haven't been wasting my time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with my voice. And I'll try and get another video out to you as soon as I can. This one here shouldn't be too far away. Alright guys, see you later.